my friends, I have jury duty. As a future member of the jury duty, I feel qualified to make this video judging someone's characters and sins because the government thinks I'm good at it, and the government is never wrong. I decide who lives and dies. Lies. My friends, is Phainon lying to us? About what, you might retort? Well, what if I told you? Everything. His name, his home place, his core flame, they're all wrong. His name is not Phainon. Aedes Elysiae doesn't exist, and he is not the destined bearer of the core flame of strife. He's not this perfect without flaws vessel for the chrysos heir. No, my friends. Instead, he's a man who seeks vengeance. A man who wants revenge. What do I mean? Well, let me tell you a story about Phainon, no less. In Amphoreus, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kephali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the gods' mercy while realizing the sorrows of this world. In front of a statue, the people of the holy city beheld a man, Phainon of Aedes Elysiae. He never spoke of his origins, only using this name to nonchalantly identify himself. That's not really his name, is it? People cast sidelong glances at him, their minds swirling with doubts. The man merely responds with a breezy smile, neither confirming nor disproving their speculation. Phainon is a soldier, one with divinity coursing through his veins. Responding to the gold weaver's rally call, he traveled long and far to reach the holy city, eager to bring lights to the hero's path. Aedes Elysiae, the man's hometown, shrouded in secrecy just like his past. Some have searched for that distant village, yet found it neither written about nor passed down through song. In every nostalgic reflection, the man crafted a vision of paradise with his exquisite poetry. Yet, within the ancient texts of the holy city, the history of that frontier village remains more obscure than the days to come. In the far-off future, the land of Amphoreus will bear the marks of the hero's footsteps. With sword in hands, the man will inscribe an eternal mark in the chrysos epic, yet his real name may never be heard in this world again. Well, now isn't that interesting? This thing, calling himself Phainon of Aedes Elysiae, has a past not known to the common folk. The name itself is so peculiar, it's being called into question by the people. The place of his hometown, Aedes Elysiae, is said to have absolutely no historical records, written or otherwise, and what's more, people can't find it. You know, these aren't actually the first set of red flags we've gotten regarding Phainon, because it was the crown prince of Castrum Kremnos himself, Midamos, who warned us to be careful around Phainon.
From the moment we first met, I already told you that regardless of whether it's in the past or in the future, the people of Kremnos will never agree to make peace with the likes of you. As the successor of Kremnos, I, Mighty, am not able to act independently on such matters. Furthermore, things have escalated to a point where I must warn you, esteemed guests, that your host is anything but proficient in the ways of hospitality.
Midamos is many things, but a fool? I think not. And I'm a good judge of character, because I am a future member of the jury duty, which is why I must also bring up the flip side to this, which is Mighty could just be bullshitting because Phainon simply brought his guests to Akama while it was being ravaged. Throughout 5.0, we've gained bits and pieces of information about Phainon with regards to who he really was, is, will be.
Before he was chosen by the prophecy, Lord Phainon had everything taken away from him. His home, his family, his close friends. He became a hollowed shell in his youth, and the blazing flames of vengeance were the only thing sustaining him. The prophecy gave him a new mission, granting him a new life as a chrysos heir. But which is more important to him? His new mission, or his desire for revenge?
And alas, it's here the themes of vengeance rear its beautiful head. We don't know what happened to Phainon in his past, but we do know it's greatly affected him even to this day. Earlier, before the ceremony, he confessed to Castorice all he thinks about is the past, meaning his deep-seated desire for revenge still lingers. Who does he want revenge against? We don't know, but given the defiant manner in which he delivered this line,
even gods can bleed.
Maybe it is against the gods. With regards to his past and how the fantastical land of Aedes Elysiae connects to it, we got a brief glimpse at Phainon's past right at the end of the quest, where a young Phainon is conversing with who is most assuredly Cyrene. Interesting to note about the young Phainon title, Cyrene never calls the boy by his name. The two discuss what a deliverer is, however, we gain some insights into their home when Phainon reveals it's a village that's seemingly disconnected from the rest of Amphoreus, given the elders of the village have said the outside world is full of bad people. Now, when I say the village is disconnected from Amphoreus, I use that word loosely. Assuming this is a shot of the village, Kefali's statue is in plain view, meaning Akama is just over yonder. However, I'm actually betting this shot isn't of the village, and it's simply a place close to Akama, given the clothes Cyrene wears here are identical to the ones we see her in today, and the plains of wheat also match as well, meaning Cyrene is currently close to Akama. We later learn the two do indeed seemingly come from a place called Aedes Elysiae, and Cyrene assures Phainon bad people can't reach them there, which in fact does point to this place being in some sort of separate realm from Amphoreus. I mean, they're sitting there talking about playing with fairies. Nigga, I ain't seen no fairies so far. What's more, Aedes Elysiae not actually existing on Amphoreus could explain how no one has been able to find it, despite the efforts to search for it. One last note about Phainon's past, it's most likely because of it, he may have something that weighs more than the weight of the world.
Something that has more weight than the fate of the world.
No, Lord Phainon. There must be some other way. A more comprehensive way. Even if our time is tight.
Oh, that reminds me of the question back in the temple with the scales of justice, when Orynyx was trying to deter us.
Because I knew there must be another solution. Something more important than the fate of Amphoreus. It is far too cruel and unfair to ask that of you.
Now, with regards to Phainon's core flame, it's just not strife. Aside from the As I've Written book quite literally casting Phainon's face over Kefali's and Midamos's over Nikodor's, what's more, look at Phainon's left eye. It bears the world-bearing titan Kefali's constellation. Why? I don't know, but I'm sure there's some sort of connection there. Now, some of you might be going, does this really all mean he's evil? My friends, as a future member of the jury duty, lying is evil.